Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfula, and when I'm not finding him for 3, but catching and killing him for 10, I'm here at the Wolfula riff-viewing movies. For this video, I'll be riff-viewing Cruel Jaws, a direct-to-video English-language Italian flick from the 90s, and if it wasn't obvious from the title, this is a knockoff of Jaws, but its plagiarism runs far deeper than you could possibly imagine.
He's gotta be over 8 meters long!
Cruel Jaws was directed by Bruno Mattei under the pseudonym of William Snyder, and this video is actually covering the extended version of Cruel Jaws, literally called the Snyder Cut. But don't worry, this Snyder Cut isn't 4 hours, and it's actually somewhat watchable.
You won't kill me. I'm your best friend. Besides, who's gonna give you a reach around?
The late Bruno Mattei had a varied career in schlock. Any kind of exploitation, he had it covered. But he also made some shameless knockoffs, like an Aliens ripoff that passed itself off as Terminator 2 years before the actual Terminator 2 came out. Cruel Jaws is no different. It was originally even marketed as Jaws 5 Cruel Jaws. But does Cruel Jaws live up to the legacy of its namesake, the franchise that gave us Jaws 3D and Jaws the Revenge? Let's find out in my review of Cruel Jaws. But first, I have a message from my sponsor, me! Pledge to my Patreon today to support the channel, help it continue to grow, and you'll also get access to weekly movie nights every Sunday and archive commentaries if you miss the movie nights live. Just $5 a month to get a movie night every week. Pledge to patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula if you're interested, and I thank you in advance.
Hurry up, you guys. If the Coast Guard catches us, we're in big trouble.
Cruel Jaws opens with 2 divers intending to steal military secrets aboard a sunken ship called the Cleveland.
There was top secret Navy material on board the Cleveland. We're going down to retrieve it.
What kind of important U.S. military secrets would they trust being transported by a ship named after the worst city in the worst state? Which Marvel movies will get to use the military's fighter jets? Underwater, the duo of scuba divers encounter a massive shark yawning at them. Must be sleepy. I know I'd be if I was starring in this movie. Above the sea, the drunken oafish captain aboard the chartered ship warns the divers that they're running out of oxygen.
You've only got 3 minutes of air left.
It's only been 2 minutes. Who gives deep sea divers 5 minutes of oxygen? Is this an Ocean Gate operation? While trying to return to the surface, the divers are devoured by the shark. I assume. Everything in this movie is poorly shot, so when anything happens, all you can do is make an educated guess about what just happened. Because something exciting was about to take place, the movie immediately cuts away to a couple's stilted, awkward acting while driving on a Floridian highway, the most dangerous place imaginable to drive.
Last year, you left me to go chasing killer whales. What have you got in mind for me this year?
Sailing, tennis, discoing till dawn.
Now, I know the movie's intro music makes it sound like it, but no, this is not a hardcore adult video from the 90s. I wish it was, because then it would maybe have something watchable in it. The rejected pink and blue rangers over here are Vanessa, and I'm not kidding, Billy, who is a marine biologist with a himbo Valley Boy accent.
We're just gonna go say hi to the guys, okay?
Paying a visit to a colleague of his who runs a local aquarium. It looks like if Hulk Hogan became a math teacher.
It's good to have you back here with us, Billy.
This frozen Viking thawed out in the modern era is named Dag Sorensen, which sounds like the name you'd give your character in Skyrim, and believe it or not, Dag is the hero of the film. Yeah, I was crushed when I realized it too.
So how are things here, Dag?
Well, the overheads are hot. Shows a few.
Dag has recently become a widower, losing his wife in a car accident that also resulted in his daughter becoming a paraplegic, and Dag becoming suicidally depressed. But those weren't the worst things that came from the tragedy.
I lost my wife, my will to live, Most of all, Susie's smiling.
What is he talking about? She was fucking smiling a minute ago.
Come and let me introduce you to coffee.
Just because your daughter's legs don't work doesn't mean you have to act like she's a lost cause now, dude. Dag runs his aquarium with the help of his 2 large adult sons, Bob and Larry. But unfortunately, their blissful lives forcing dolphins to entertain slack-jawed tourists is coming to an end as Dag is served eviction papers by the local sheriff, Francis Berger.
I'm sorry, this isn't a social call. I have an order to evict from Samuel Lewis.
In 1 month's time, the aquarium will belong to an evil real estate magnate by the name of Samuel Lewis, unrelated to that kid from Webster, but he does look like the dad from Different Strokes.
I have the plans for the hotel that's going to be built right here.
And you can tell he's the villain because guys who wear ascots are always either pure evil or Fred from Scooby-Doo. And this doesn't look like Fred from Scooby-Doo to me.
That fat money-grubbing bastard. I like to rip his balls off.
This isn't the only time somebody mentions ripping a guy's balls off, or other forms of cock and ball torture are mentioned in this film.
I tear his fucking balls off! Why don't you go bust somebody else's balls?
Hey, I'm a sex machine. I even got a spare set of balls.
It's to the point where I think it's a kink of the director.
You are obsessed!
Obsessed my ass.
So Dag, his sons, and his homies, Billy and the sheriff, have to scrounge up 100 grand in 1 month, or they lose their beloved aquarium. And I know what you're thinking, this sounds like a cliche 90s movie setup for this flick to hold some kind of surfing competition to win the money needed to save the aquarium from the greedy real estate mogul. And no, you idiot, there isn't a surfing competition in this film. There's a windsurfing competition. There's a difference. They're 2 distinct aquatic sports.
The season's good and Bob wins the regatta. We should have come out on top.
Now, back to Dag Sorensen. The various unfortunate events surrounding Dag before and during the film do seem like they'd make him more sympathetic as a protagonist, somebody you can easily root for as a dad and small-time businessman.
If a shark tried to eat me, I'd punch him in the nose.
Don't worry, no shark's gonna eat you.
But then the film decides for whatever reason to reveal Dag's dark backstory. Before he opened his aquarium, he used to be a whaler.
And that hasn't been the same since Mom died. When he was young, he was a great sailor. He used to hunt whales in the North Sea.
Which is mentioned casually a few times.
Yeah, when I used to go whaling in the Arctic Ocean, all the half-asses wanted to become whalers so they could use the harpoon.
And hunting critically endangered whales feels like a fucking crazy backstory for a guy who currently runs an ocean theme park. But then I remember how SeaWorld treats its animals, and it starts to make a lot of sense.
Once off Greenland, I caught a whale about 20 meters long. I had to plant 3 harpoons in him so I could bring him in.
Now, you're probably wondering, Doc, where does the shark come back into play in this shark movie? And the answer is, well, appearances from the shark are few and far between, and, it takes a long time before the shark actually becomes a vital part of the story. It's very much in the peripheral for, like, half of the movie, which instead focuses on setting up various subplots, many of which are romantic in nature that go absolutely nowhere.
I'm the person in charge of pussy. I have to, check your credentials.
Dick brain, dick brain, dick brain!
There's a forbidden love plot in the movie where Dag's son Bobby falls in love with Gloria here, and they decide to spend an evening together, and by evening, I mean blue filter over a scene clearly shot during the day.
When you see and feel certain things, you suddenly realize how futile the things you strive for are.
Then why'd you come tonight?
But their date is cut short when it turns out Gloria is the daughter of Samuel Lewis, the evil real estate developer. And Gloria's brother Ronnie frowns on her seeing the loser son of the loser Hulk Hogan impersonator Ronnie's dad is trying to run out of business.
Keep away from my sister! Go home. About what I have things to discuss.
Ronnie hates when his sister goes, but he loves watching her leave. So Ronnie and his friends beat the fuck out of Bobby. It's pretty satisfying. I wish I could have joined in.
The world's a bad place, Bobby boy.
There's also a love triangle in the film where Billy's girlfriend Vanessa becomes frustrated with how much of a workaholic her boyfriend is. More interested in fish than her, it seems.
Bill, we need you right now. The shark cages have arrived.
Once and for all, Billy, it is the fish or me.
Which is ironic because usually a guy liking fish is good news to a lady.
What do I have to do to get you to pay attention to me? Grow gills? I want you to find the tallest skyscraper you can and throw yourself off, and then go fuck yourself.
Vanessa decides to blow off steam at a party with her friend Glenda, who vaguely looks like a female Matthew Lillard. Is it just me?
They're gonna die when they see you dressed like this.
And Vanessa meets Ronnie at this coke-fueled party, and the dude really sells himself to the lady.
I'm desperately lonely. It's written in my eyes.
Nothing sexier to a woman than depressing loneliness. Works every time.
Why don't we go someplace else?
And this subplot plays out with them just, frolicking at the beach during the day-night. Sure, there's a shark nearby in the water that almost attacks them, but it doesn't. And they're not even aware of it. Whoa! Dramatic irony where nothing ends up happening. So exciting!
Oh, you're all wet!
And you know, the shark in your shark movie should probably be the villain. That's what people fucking watch a shark movie for, after all, but Cruel Jaws insists on pushing its human villains to the forefront, to the point where it's not clear what the central conflict even is. Anytime I watch Cruel Jaws, I forget the shark exists. And then when a scene comes up that has a shark in it, I say, "There's a shark in this movie?"
There's a shark! Look, there's a shark!
Like, there's a subplot where Ronnie and his dad's generic henchmen hatch a Good Burger-like scheme where they go to the aquarium after hours during the day-night to poison Dag's dolphins with fish infused with rat poison.
Giving them a special filling, strychnine nitrate with rat poison.
Vikings in for a nasty surprise in the morning, boys.
But they spend so much time explaining to us, the audience, what they're doing, that they don't manage to actually do it before Dag arrives. It's a pointless scene, a running theme of this film.
But I'll beat the shit out of anyone who tries to poison my dolphins.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, at least we get a scene out of it of a guy pretending to get pushed into a pool by a seal.
He's nothing but a pumped up windbag.
She can't even muster up the effort to pretend laugh for this movie. There are lots of other pointless, winding subplots in Cruel Jaws. Like, for instance, Samuel Lewis is actually working for the Mafia. He's not really the big bad of this film. Whoa!
Now the press is sticking their nose in our town business. And our friends in New York are not gonna be very happy.
You know, distracting filler like this, often involving characters that have little to no connection with the central storyline, that's just lost in the noise. But let's throw all of that bullshit to the side and focus on the shark storyline of Cruel Jaws, for God's sake.
Go take a swim!
Let's swim. They're gonna go fool around.
Ronnie and Glenda do some horseplay on the beach, but it's mostly an excuse to make the actress bounce around for a bit before they find a corpse decaying on the beach. Looks just like me after eating too much lasagna, making me hungry.
Could have been a shark.
A shark and it did that? An autopsy's the only way you're gonna get a precise answer.
At the morgue, after Billy and the sheriff sample the coroner's blow, they take a look at the corpse.
Jesus.
They always want to show him the yucky, gross dead bodies. It can never be a busty supermodel who OD'd.
It was a shark, all right. And a big one.
Are you all out of your minds?
How did the scene change so suddenly? I didn't do that. That's just how the movie cut to the scene after the morgue. What kind of fucking editing is that? Anyway, the sheriff and marine biologist want to close down the beach, but the mayor and Samuel Lewis push back against the plan for the sake of the tourist season.
If word gets out that a shark tore a driver to bits, hey, you can kiss the tourist season.
This is a really familiar plot point, but I can't put my finger on what movie I saw it in before. Goodfellas? Yeah, it must have been Goodfellas.
It was an accident, just an accident. No sharks involved, no fins.
Later, back at the beach, bootleg Fabio tries to make his girlfriend fuck him on this public beach, but because this movie couldn't secure the budget and permits to shoot any porn scenes, the girl instead opts to do some sensual frolicking in the water, offering the possibility of sex.
It's freezing!
Let's do it in here.
Yeah, sex in the ocean, a real shortcut to getting a urinary tract infection. But before we can get to some poorly shot lovemaking, mostly obscured by ocean waves, the woman is attacked by stock footage. Back at the police station, which looks like the lobby of a Ramada Inn, the sheriff is informed that this traumatized man claims to have seen his girlfriend eaten by a shark. So of course he needs to go to jail.
Eaten by a shark? He must be stewed to the gills. I'll give him the test, and then I'll throw him in the who's got for drunkenness.
Fuck out of here with that shit. With the seeming influx of shark attacks, the sheriff decides to pay Billy a visit to get his expert opinion on sharks.
Billy, what do we know about sharks?
Well, we know that they're a sort of locomotive with a mouth full of butcher's knives.
I'm starting to think this guy might not know what he's talking about.
And all they really know how to do is swim, eat, and make baby sharks. And that's all.
Well, he's at least a better actor than Richard Dreyfuss.
So if we were to have the regatta, it would be like saying, help yourself, chow's on.
Despite the sheriff's pleas to cancel the upcoming regatta,
I refuse to put off the regatta.
or the ceremony, and I'll pay for everything.
Samuel Lewis, at his own expense, convinces the mayor to instead install shark-proof nets and barriers.
Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely nothing will happen. You have my word on that.
Well, so far, absolutely nothing has happened in this movie, so he's a man of his word. Because he has nothing better to do, I guess, the sheriff watches out for sharks through binoculars at the beach when he's accosted by, British tourists who want to see the shark that's been killing people.
They said there's a shark killing people right here.
But now it's gone.
You mean to say we came all this way and now it's gone?
It's ironic. Universal got rid of the Jaws ride in Florida to give these people more fucking Harry Potter shit.
But I thought we were gonna go see the shark.
Ronnie, shut up.
If only British tourists in Florida actually did that to their kids. Elsewhere, some snipers in a helicopter spot some stock footage of a shark and open fire on it, allowing the movie to further plagiarize from the only good shark film.
Well, it's a tiger shark, all right.
Does that mean that its daddy was a shark and its mommy was a tiger?
Man, I am raising one dumbass paraplegic kid. Billy insists that the shark they nabbed just doesn't have the same bite radius as the one that's been attacking people.
This jaw span just doesn't convince me.
Wait, what are you saying here?
You're talking nonsense, boy. You've been seeing too many movies.
Well, just one movie. Jaws.
All you have to do then is open him up and see what's in his stomach.
I don't want to see that Fabio girlfriend spill out on the dock. Well, regardless of whether or not a killer shark is on the loose, the regatta still goes on as planned. The sheriff knew there was a shark, but he still let people sail their ostentatious boats anyway. Billy is pensive about the whole thing, though, concerned that the killer shark's behavior is influenced by humans.
I'm afraid, Francis. That motherfucker is acting so strange.
Whoa, language! Jaws was a motherfucking PG movie.
It's almost as if someone has trained him to attack and kill.
As the regatta's windsurfing race begins, Samuel Lewis makes sure to fit in an ironic statement that foreshadows something that will happen later in the scene.
There isn't a shark in the world that can get through these nets.
The race begins, and as things heat up, Ronnie and Bobby start trash-talking each other.
You're a piece of shit! You're vomit! You're a nobody! And you're a loser!
I'd rather be a loser than a piece of shit vomit nobody, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, the shark breaks through the shark-proof nets. That's Floridian infrastructure for you.
Get out of the water! Everybody, get out of the water!
You know, Spielberg chose not to show the shark for a reason, guys. Now, there's a shark in the water, so of course everybody's first instinct is to crowd the dock and push each other into the ocean. The shark's not gonna feed itself. In fact, I think he's hungry for some Meals on Wheels. Vanessa comes to little Susie's rescue, but Vanessa joins the No Legs Club in the process. Also the No Body Club. After Dag lies to his daughter's face about her friend still being alive...
Is Vanessa okay?
She's just fine. She's at home with Billy.
The fellas spot Samuel Lewis loitering in the hospital and decide to guilt trip him into offering a reward to take out the shark.
What? You're gonna have to offer a reward of $100,000 to whoever brings in the head of that shark.
Huh. $100,000. That's the amount of money Dag needs to save his aquarium from being shut down. And it would be rewarded by the very man who's trying to put him out of business. This is very convenient. Not contrived at all.
You fat fuck! Vanessa's dead because of you!
Now with an actual motivation, 1 hour into the film, Dag, Billy, Bobby, and Larry set sail on their hunt for the shark. Is this the fucking Star Wars theme? When the director told the composer to rip off John Williams, he probably should have specified from which movie. These aren't the only yokels out on the open sea looking to brutalize the sea creatures so a Florida community can continue to encroach on sea habitats unabated. Donnie and his crew are also looking to get a piece of the action, firing a 12-gauge shotgun wildly into the ocean. But hey, they're still the most responsible boat and gun owners in Florida. Donnie just ends up pissing off the shark stock footage, and to demonstrate that this creature is a formidable beast, it, jams itself into the ship's propeller like it's a manatee. This shark is a force to be reckoned with.
Ah! He's coming right at us!
They try to bait the creature with some Arby's meat, but the stock footage is too powerful, breaking the bait rod's line and causing Donnie to tumble into the depths. The actor pretending to be eaten in a swimming pool like a jackass, and because Donnie's friends are nothing without him, they put themselves out of their misery through self-explosion. Savage as fuck!
Lewis's boat exploded at sea. No survivors.
They chopped down a whole rainforest for the wood paneling of the sheriff's office.
Return to the port immediately.
The Coast Guard tells Dag and his crew to head back to port because they reached their daily limit of dumbass Floridians firing guns wildly at the ocean and blowing themselves up.
If anything important happens, you can get in touch with me by radio.
The sheriff decides he's been sitting things out too long and it's his turn to get himself killed at sea. Chartering a helicopter specially fashioned with a meat hook that will reel the shark in. I don't know what the end game could possibly be when you're reeling in a shark with a helicopter, but remember, this is Florida. They don't think anything through all the way. It's a state filled with passionate, ignorant people.
He's gotta be over 8 meters long!
We need a bigger helicopter!
Oh, I get it. It's a slightly changed quote from Jaws. You know what? This is actually a good movie. So for some reason, trying to pull a shark that weighs 2 tons out of the ocean with a helicopter doesn't work, but even if it means getting eaten, it was worth a shot anyway. Won't know until you try. We're reaching the finale, but I figured I'd plug my merch store real quick. tpublic.com/users/Dr. Wolfula. I got all kinds of shirt designs available there, including a new shirt inspired by the poster for Dracula. Buy a shirt today if you want to show your pride of watching an obscure YouTube channel. tpublic.com/users/Dr. Wolfula.
The Cleveland was an oceanographic ship carrying a very special cargo, right?
Billy reveals that the sunken ship Cleveland, still a stupid name for a ship, was carrying a secretly bioengineered shark designed to kill America's enemies.
That ship was carrying a shark born in captivity, a death machine trained to attack the enemy.
How does Billy know about this government secret?
Top secret naval experiments.
It isn't revealed, and this is a well-written movie, so it has to have its reasons for leaving out plot details.
Here's my plan. We go down to the wreck of the Cleveland, we fill it with dynamite, and we blow it to bits.
Gloria hears word that her father is aiming to take Dag's family out of the picture to secure the aquarium, and Gloria rushes to warn Dag of the goons who are after him and his crew that they ignorantly run past on the way back to the aquarium, allowing said goons to peek at Billy's poorly drawn plans to kill the shark that the goons can now more easily sabotage.
Everything looks okay here.
Wrong!
You hit a guy once and they're immediately knocked out? What is this, Gilligan's Island? $10 say they wake up with amnesia. Anyway, the goons now have a head start to use Dag's plan to take out the shark and claim the reward, leaving Dag in the dust with a broken down boat. Unfortunately for one of the goons, though, he underestimates the killing power of stock footage mixed in with home movies from the Universal Backlot Tour, leaving the man's lover back on the ship distraught. Did he just fart? Back with Dag and the rest of his uneaten crew, they've fixed their ship and are back to shamelessly ripping off the score from a space opera. For like 10 minutes, we watch Billy, Larry, and Bobby just planting dynamite underwater on the sunken ship, while Dag lazily cracks open a beer, and I'm not gonna lie, this is riveting entertainment. I couldn't take my eyes off of the screen. Dag notices, oh no, the stock footage is closing in. Time to lock and load. This is the equivalent of watching somebody play House of the Dead in an arcade. The explosive charges are set, but Billy's trapped down there with the shark closing in on him.
Where's Bill?
So Donnie mounts a rescue mission without his oxygen tank for some reason, and Billy ends up saved. But wait! Donnie is now trapped underwater with the shark. Oh no! But don't worry, he ends up getting out of the water super quickly. This is just the illusion of dramatic tension. Anyway, the charges go off, and that shark stock footage is sent back to hell. With the reward money, the aquarium is saved, and they can continue coercing animals into doing tricks for the amusement of brain-dead gawkers. Samuel Lewis ain't impressed, though. But who cares what he thinks? He's all washed up. His son died a few days ago. Fuck him. And in case you're wondering, yes, the Star Wars theme also plays over the end credits. Cruel Jaws is true to its name. It's cruel to show anybody this version of Jaws. It liberally steals its title, story, clips, and music from other better movies while also managing to have an incoherent story with so many pointless subplots to cut through to get to what little action there is with the shark. When the star of a movie is literally a guy who's paid to be a Hulk Hogan impersonator for parties, you know it's gonna be a real shit show. I give Cruel Jaws a Billy from Power Rangers out of Hulk Hogan. Hey, what day is this? It's Wednesday. It's Tuesday, I think. While I still have your attention, subscribe to the Gulag channel, which will be returning soon with a review of Scooby-Doo The Mystery Begins, and I'll be in the video too. Please subscribe, please. Alright, on to the fan mail. Splammo made this severed head of goulash to go with her cosplay of me last October and sent the head to me. It looks just like the real thing when I cut Goulash's head off. Splammo also sent me a couple masks that she made, including this excellent Scooby mask. Zane C. emailed me some kick-ass fan art of Goulash and I being targeted by a variety of iconic horror villains. I'm scared. If you have any fan mail to send me, be it a letter, artwork, or a film you'd like to see me review, feel free to send it to my P.O. Box, Dr. Wolfula, P.O. Box 618-305, Orlando, Florida 32861. If you'd rather just send me an email, you can reach me at drwolfulafanmail@gmail.com.
Tell your Bob to stay away from my daughter, or you can buy another wheelchair.
This video is made possible through the pledges of my Patreon supporters, and I'd like to give a very special thanks to the kind folks pledged to my shoutouts tier. All of the support on Patreon means a lot to me, and it helps my dark influence continue to grow. If you like this video, like it, and if you loved it, click the subscribe and bell buttons for more vids. Be sure to also keep in touch by following me on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dr. Wolfula. While I still have your attention, consider pledging to my Patreon to support the channel and get bonus content like previews, VIP Discord server access, private movie night streams, and credits in videos. Consider pledging at patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula. Also, check out official Dr. Wolfula t-shirts and other merch on tpublic.com/user/Dr. Wolfula. Thanks for watching. See you all next time. Dr. Wolfula signing out.